Hi, I'm Caitlin. And after my daughter was born, I had roughly 35 or 40 pounds that I wanted to lose. And I feel compelled to make this video because I think that there are a lot of moms out there who are looking for more help with a strategy and looking for a strategy that's actually going to meet them where they are, because a lot of videos out there are either not specific enough. For example, they'll say eat more protein and you're like, okay, how much? And I understand that we can't just give a blanket recommendation for every single person out there, but a little more specificity could be nice. Or the advice is just counterintuitive with a mom's realistic day to day. So for example, they'll say if you're not sleeping and if you're super stressed, then that's going to completely ruin your health and your fitness goals and your weight loss goals. And you're like, okay, well, my baby doesn't sleep, so I don't sleep, and I'm stressed about everything. So the last one I'll say before I go into what has helped me as a busy mom is there was a strategy that was for women talking about weight loss and fat loss, and it was a recommendation was to do a 48-hour fast every week. Not 4 to 8 hours, 48 hours every week. So I don't know about you, but that's not realistic for me. So that said, this past 18 months, it has been a frustrating and difficult process to try to lose the weight. And so I want to share some tips that have worked well for me as a working full-time mom who up until about a month ago, I was also the full-time caregiver to my daughter. So trying to balance everything and, the cooking, the cleaning, making sure you're fully stocked on everything. Let's just say it can be overwhelming. So I'm going to share what has worked well for me. The very first thing is starting off having a goal helps, and I'll tell you why. My goal was I wanted to lose the weight and I wanted to enjoy the process. But I'll tell you one other thing where this helps you is it helps determine what exercise and what your diet can look like. For example, prior to pregnancy, my goal was a 5K. I want to run a 5K in a certain amount of time. So since it was around a 5K, my exercise was running. My diet, because I was mostly running, was heavily focused on carbohydrates. Now my goal is around weight loss and fat loss. So my exercise is a lot of walking and strength training, and my diet is focused more on protein. So just want to point that out there. One other thing I think is helpful. There's a quote by Tony Robbins that I love. It's not about the goal. It's about becoming the type of person who can accomplish that goal. That will help you on the days where you don't want to wake up early or you want the chocolate chip cookie instead of the Greek yogurt. So anyway, that will help you throughout the process. Let's get into strategy. First things first is calorie deficit. If you're wanting to lose weight, then you have to consume less calories than what you're burning, right? There's a few different ways to do that. You can either just simply eat less, or you can just move more. Or what I found to work a little bit better is to do a little bit of both. Eat a little less, move a little bit more. Just look at what you're eating throughout the day and look for areas where you can optimize, right? If you're drinking a full sugared Coke, can you switch for Diet Coke? Things like that. Okay, next thing, diet, eating more protein. Yes, I cannot just give you a blanket recommendation. What I did and what worked well for me initially is I started off with, okay, here's my weight goal. And I ate that amount, like whatever my weight goal was, I ate a gram of that a gram of protein per goal weight, if that makes sense. So I'm just, if my goal weight was 100 pounds, which I weigh significantly more than 100 pounds, then my protein goal was 100 grams. That's how I did it. There are calculators, there are resources online. Obviously, if you can work with a registered dietitian, by all means do that. Most of us can't do that. So anyway, that was my protein target. I have since upped that. So I'm getting significant, whatever my protein goal was initially, I've since upped it. And yeah. Now, as far as how you do that, I'll do a separate video on recipes and things like that, because I don't want this video to be way too long. Next part is exercise. strength training. If you're wanting to, oh, sorry, one more point I want to make is about diet. The reason also you want to increase your protein is if you're in a calorie deficit and you are not increasing your protein, then some of that weight you could be losing is actually going to be muscle, not just fat. So to help increase your body retain muscle and burn more fat, as you're in a calorie deficit, you want to up your protein. So just keep that in mind. Next part is exercise. Starting off, I just did walking. Now I think this is a hard part for a lot of people because not all of us have access to a gym. You're also having to figure out where you can add it in your day. For me, I oftentimes have to work out with my daughter. So that for me looks like, especially when she was younger, she's 18 months right now. So I'm able to run with her. I'm able to do a workout and have her just kind of run around, play outside. With me, obviously she's like right next to me. Of course, she's not like, I can't see her, but she's right next to me. But for working out initially, I still do all my workouts are at home. I'll go for walks. And I would just put her in the stroller on days where the weather would permit. If it was too hot, if it was too cold, if it was rainy, I didn't get to go. Sometimes I can't tell you how many times I would have a day where my workout was like 6 minutes. I got 3 minutes down the road and it just starts raining out of nowhere. So you have to turn around. And you just have to remember it may not always be the workout that you want, but you just do the workout that you can do. So that is what worked well for me, is going for walks and doing body weight exercises at home. And then once I was able to add weight, I started getting dumbbells. I looked out where I had friends that were selling some workout equipment, so I was able to get equipment from them. But starting off, I would just recommend just do body weight initially, build that strength, and then when you're ready for weights, just get some dumbbells. You don't need to go crazy with like a Peloton. If you're not even like, I wouldn't spend too much money on workout equipment until you find that like you're actually using it. So that's what helped me. Now, strategically, like what time of day, that's going to be different for everybody. I can tell you that changes for my husband and I, like basically week to week. It just depends on our schedules. So just find a pocket of time that you can do it, and just understand too that that's probably going to change week to week. The last part that really made a huge difference is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This and your diet will actually make a big impact. This is everything outside of traditional exercise. This is actually fidgeting even counts. Walking around your house, doing chores, doing yard work, walking at the grocery store, like any type of standing instead of sitting, any type of extra movement like that actually counts. And so the more you move, the more calories the more energy you're using, which is more calories that you're burning. So keep that in mind. If I were to recommend focusing on one part first, for me, it was, I've got to nail in my diet, because that was the hardest part for me. I know I can go out and go for a walk. But for diet, it took time to figure out recipes. I just find influencers that I like and that I like their recipes. I use AI a ton, so I wouldn't overcomplicate it. Tony Robbins also says complexity is the enemy of execution. So don't overcomplicate it and find what works best for you. I hope that this has helped. If you have something that has worked better for you, by all means, throw it in the comments, and have a great day.